that less than 3 months ago, Prince Harry was suggesting that the king and the royal family were involved in some type of conspiracy to kill him. So this constant propaganda to try and rehabilitate Harry, it is driving me insane.
Harry has completely failed the test because he couldn't keep his mouth shut or let Meghan keep her mouth shut.
King Charles has agreed to meet Prince Harry, the Duke's friends have revealed, as royal biographer Tom Bower claims he is desperate to get away from Meghan but isn't ending the marriage because of the children.
Harry is desperate. Harry is desperate to get back to England. Harry is desperate to distance himself from the bitter feuds of his wife.
Prince Harry is back, not with the royal title shining bright, but dragging behind him a trail of tabloid chaos. And make no mistake, he's not walking through the gates of Buckingham Palace as a returning hero. He's crawling back, wounded by ambition, desperate for relevance, and begging for entry into the same institution he tried to blow to smithereens. This isn't a comeback story. It's a slow-motion car crash dressed up as reconciliation. Behind the velvet curtains of diplomacy lies a much darker tale of betrayal, leaking, and a marriage unraveling behind closed Montecito doors.
But the thing is, how can you let Harry go forward when he hasn't said hasn't got an apology for his father, who actually only in the beginning of May was disgusting about him? Why should you suddenly think it's wonderful and you think that if it happens it's going to be great? It won't be great because he's not going to change. He hasn't changed at all. He hasn't actually tried to talk to his father.
The peace talks are a farce. The narrative being sold to the media that this is just a loving son reconnecting with his cancer-stricken father crumbles the moment you realize the entire meeting was conveniently leaked to the press. Candid photos, coordinated narratives, manipulated headlines. This isn't a reunion. This is a royal PR coup gone wrong. And at the center of it all is Prince Harry, a man caught between a bitter wife and a disillusioned crown, running out of time, money, and trust.
If Prince Harry's deal with Netflix had not been a disastrous flop and they didn't need money, he wouldn't be back for these peace talks. He is back for these peace talks because he needs something out of the royal family.
To understand this disaster, you have to remember how high the expectations once were. Harry wasn't just the spare, he was the spark, the fun one, the royal rebel with charm, humor, and a deep connection to the people. His marriage to Meghan was hailed as a modern turning point. A biracial American actress welcomed into the most traditional institution on earth. It was history in the making. The public adored it. The media fawned. The palace tolerated it. Together, Meghan and Harry were going to build an empire, a global brand of compassion, equality, and yes, content.
You know, they're not going to suddenly be lovely souls. They can't do it. They just can't do it. And if they look at him like that, it's phony. I think they're just really, really phony. Very unhappy and really phony.
They secured multi-million-dollar deals with Netflix and Spotify. They launched Archewell. They sat with Oprah. They published a memoir, ghostwritten but full of venom. But as quickly as the dollars rolled in, so did the controversies. Accusations of racism, suits against the British government, fallout with the royal family. One by one, the golden opportunities began to rot. Spotify canceled them. Netflix mocked them. Hollywood distanced itself. Meghan, according to insiders, began taking the wheel. Solo projects, brand pitches, relaunches of old blogs, while Harry faded into the background, quietly isolated in his own fairy tale.
In the end, that's how people get public admiration within the royal family. It is by showing a sense of duty. It is not by setting up in California at a multi-squillion dollar mansion and making jam that you then flog. Who knew?
I mean, he's totally right.
Well, yes, it is. And
And now, the fairy tale has expired. The so-called secret meeting between Harry and King Charles was supposed to be private. Instead, it became the most public spectacle since Megxit. Paparazzi caught every angle, from Harry's taxi ride to the balcony photo op. The narrative was set before the conversation even began, and the press was ready. The Mail on Sunday, led by editor Charlotte Griffiths, dropped the story with suspicious detail, down to the emotional undercurrents of a father-son reunion. But behind the headlines, royal insiders weren't buying it. Angela Levin, biographer of both Harry and Queen Camilla, didn't mince words. It was a test, and Harry failed. Levin pointed out the obvious. If this meeting had real significance, senior secretaries and palace aides would have been present. Instead, a PR handler orchestrated the entire spectacle. 10 minutes of smiles, a handful of photos, no meaningful dialogue, no apologies, just a facade of reunion, stage managed for the cameras.
I don't believe that it means anything whatsoever, because if it was very important, the secretaries of the individuals would have been there, not someone who was just a sort of PR person.
Meanwhile, Tom Bower, who's been chronicling the Sussex downfall in his book Revenge, added fuel to the fire. According to him, Harry's panic isn't about family at all. It's about being banished from Britain altogether. He fears that when Charles dies, William will exile him completely. That fear, Bower claims, is driving Harry to now distance himself from Meghan, a woman who has allegedly sidelined him from her own business affairs. A slow breakup, Bower hinted, one that Harry's too afraid to complete.
Is there sort of a slow breakup happening?
Well, I don't think he'll ever want to leave California because he won't want to leave his children, but he's desperate for an identity, and what he really fears is that when the king, God forbid, dies, that his brother, Prince William, is going to banish him from Britain.
So who's really pulling the strings in this chaotic comeback? All roads lead to Charlotte Griffiths, hailed in some corners as a rehabilitation machine for Team Harry. She's been compared to Omid Scobie, the author notorious for sugarcoating Sussex spin. Her recent interview reads like a rehab playbook. There's hope. There's room for forgiveness. Harry still loves his country. It's the emotional manipulation playbook, designed to tug on royalist heartstrings and overwrite a public memory still smarting from Spare's betrayal.
But this information has come from Charlotte Griffiths, the Mail on Sunday's editor-at-large, who is, of course, now really the new Omid Scobie. She's the propagandist. She's the one trying to rehabilitate the king, the Prince Harry, and bring him back into the king's fold. It's true, isn't it? William does want to banish him, which is why Harry is now sort of dangling this carrot to the royal family via Charlotte Griffiths. Oh, well, I don't need to do any of this with Meghan. I don't need Meghan as part of this. And it's like, oh my God, what a total U-turn.
Angela Levin was livid, and rightly so. She shredded the media's attempts to compare Harry's saga to Camilla's. Camilla, she pointed out, stayed quiet for decades. She never publicly humiliated the queen, never cashed in on family trauma. Camilla may have fallen in love with the married man, Levin said, but she never tried to destroy the monarchy. Meghan and Harry, on the other hand, built their brand by tearing down everything royal, only to now beg their way back in with empty apologies and a side of self-pity.
Camilla, for all of her sins, which involved falling in love with a man, and I was very much Team Diana at the time, she never did anything to try and destroy the royal family, did she? She never did anything to damage the Queen or to damage Prince Philip.
Even Douglas Murray, the blunt British commentator, joined in. They don't serve the country, they serve themselves. And he's right. Meghan's wine, her dried flowers, her barely breathing lifestyle brand, they're not symbols of independence. They're symptoms of a duo that thought same was a right, not something earned. This isn't just bad PR, it's strategic gaslighting. And the fallout? Catastrophic. Archwell is a punchline. The Spotify deal ended in disgrace. Netflix has quietly shelved most of their projects. Meghan's lifestyle revamp is being mocked online. Their media presence is now reactive, not iconic. What once felt like a brand is now a burden.
There's certainly a great deal of love and goodwill for her from the British public. She's in so many ways the polar opposite of the most attention-seeking royals at the moment, Harry and Meghan.
He was brought up in all of that. He, like his wife, has just completely flouted all of that. And Princess Catherine, who was not brought up in that, has adopted it and has been rewarded in the way that people are when they do that.
Even worse, Harry reportedly owes millions from failed lawsuits against the British government. The same man suing for security costs is now flying commercial and begging for palace access. Meghan, meanwhile, is allegedly controlling their remaining business interests, and her exclusion of Harry is sparking rumors of emotional, if not legal, separation. Public sympathy has all but evaporated. Royal fans have rallied behind William and Catherine. The British public, especially after the Queen's passing, view Harry's return as a threat, not a solution. And William? Royal insiders say he's reached a breaking point. Every time Harry surfaces, it's with a new allegation, a fresh grievance, or an emotional trap. The monarchy can't afford another scandal, and the public won't accept another staged reunion.
But Harry is furious that William is now, very much the second to the throne, and that the first to the throne, really, if you look at it that way, and that he is doing everything very well.
But here's the cruel twist. This royal drama isn't about duty or legacy. It's about survival, financial survival. Meghan and Harry's empire is crumbling, and this peace talk stunt, it's not about healing, it's about harvesting. As commentators noted, if the Netflix deal hadn't flopped, Harry wouldn't be here. His reappearance isn't timed with holidays or family events, it's timed with bank statements. King Charles reportedly sees through it. Camilla, often hands-off, is said to be quietly advising against any further handouts. And the little time Harry spends with his children? Insiders claim even that's strategic, a shield against full exile. Worst of all, the children Harry once demanded privacy for are now being photographed from behind, strategically teased for headlines. A slow, desperate rollout of royal nostalgia, weaponized for brand survival. And the world is watching and wincing.
But also the things from the court. Well, he was keep going back and back
Yes,
and back.
suing his father's government.
Yes, so he's got £1.5 million that he owes. And you can't say, well, oh, poor guy, he was doing his best. No, he shouldn't have done it. It was obvious he wasn't getting anywhere.
Everyone's warned him. Everyone's warned him on all of these court cases. They're going nowhere. You're going to end up bankrupting yourself.
So where does this leave us? What happens when a prince burns every bridge, then tries to return with empty pockets and wounded pride? Is the monarchy strong enough to say no, or are they sleepwalking into another disaster? This isn't about hugs and healing. This is about strategy. A long con dressed in royal robes. Harry is desperate. Meghan, allegedly disengaged, and the palace, cornered. One wrong move and they hand power and headlines back to the couple who betrayed them. So now we ask the question that hangs over every Windsor wall. Is Prince Harry finished, or is the real royal war just beginning? Let us know in the comments. Is Harry beyond redemption, or does he deserve a second chance? Should the palace slam the door or brace for another ambush? Is this really about family or just money? We want your thoughts. The full truth is in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay tuned for the next royal exposé. Because with Meghan and Harry, the drama never ends. It only escalates.